All right. So last week we started a new series. I don't know what to call what we do, but just a new chapter in what we're going through. We're talking about freedom, and freedom, man, it's one of those things that we live in the land of the free, and we fight for freedom and all this stuff. And the word freedom gets thrown around quite a bit. Whenever we were mad at the French for messing us over in one of the wars. I remember all of us like, we're calling them freedom fries from now on. Forget the French fries. I mean, that was a real conversation. We didn't want French fries. We wanted freedom fries. And it's ridiculous, but it was a conversation. But freedom's one of these words it gets thrown around. But as God started speaking to me about freedom, He was showing me some stuff. And last week we talked about how Paul... and I kept going back between Saul and Paul, and I know it confused some of you guys, but being explained that he's the same person. He just had two different names. That he thought he was doing God's will. He thought he was doing what God would want him to do, and he was going out and, it's not essentially, but he was killing God's messengers. And but through his law and through his religion, he was so bent that way that he thought he was doing what God wanted him to do. So in his mind, he had this identity that he was free to do these things, but in reality, he wasn't living in freedom at all. That he found freedom away from religion. He found freedom through Jesus. And I have a lot of conversations with my friends that aren't believers, and they'll say, they'll talk about religion. Religion causes this war. Religion causes this, and people that are religious this, and I have to tell them, I agree with you, because Jesus didn't come to bring another religion. He brought freedom. And as I started to study these things, and God was this week was talking to me about what I would go further into this freedom talk about. I have a friend. He's a pastor out in Oklahoma City, actually just outside of Oklahoma City, and he had put up a little devotion. And through that devotion, it was very much in line with what I was talking about. So I get a hold of him, I'm like, hey man, you're going to be talking about this? I'm going to be talking about this. And he's like, oh cool, and I was like, you mind if I share that point? He's like, no man. So we're going back and forth, but it's just really cool that God is speaking this message around the world. And it's not the first time it's happened. There's a lot of times that I would be speaking years ago, and my dad would, get a hold of me like, you're not going to believe this, Joel Osteen just said the same thing you said. I'm like, well, Joel and I talk. We're practically BFFs. But that was pre-BFF. BFF didn't exist back whenever me and Joel talked. Bear with my voice this morning, guys. I'm stuffy. But this next title is called Freedom Through Your Dreams. And I remember growing up, and I remember having crazy dreams. Like go to sleep dreams, like I would wake up and I have, here's a really that's nothing to the message, but if you ever dream that you have to use the restroom, don't do it, okay? Don't do it. I remember many times in my dream being like, oh, I gotta go to the bathroom, I gotta go so bad, and then like going and waking up and swimming, and I'm like, oh my gosh, how am I gonna hide this? We sleep on bunk beds, and I'm like, I think I just peed through onto Michael. It wasn't a little tingle. It was like more than any human should have inside them. And so don't ever, if you got to pee in your sleep, don't trust it. Okay? I don't care who's telling you to do what. Don't trust it. Anyways, going on. Dreams are interesting. Dreams are stuff. Sometimes you have crazy dreams, and sometimes you have dreams that seem like they mean something. And then other times your dreams are just whatever. But there's dreams in the Bible that God has spoke to me about this freedom. And he reminded me of something that I read a long time ago. And I think it was about Michael Jordan. And it was around that time whenever he was coming up. But it was an extremely famous basketball player, and I believe it was Michael Jordan. But he was telling a story about how he could never dunk. And he did, all his friends and stuff on the park ball and stuff like that. He wanted to dunk so bad. And one night he went to sleep, and he had a dream that he could dunk. And he got up out of bed, it was like 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning. He went out to the goal, and he jumped up, and for the first time ever, he dunked the ball. And it was spoken to him in this dream, and he just believed it, so he went out and he did it. And so that came back to me, and I was like, there's power in dreams. You guys know that I talk about Jacob because Jacob wrestled with God, and I love wrestling. And I'm going to introduce you guys to a character through Jacob. Jacob, again, was a guy that was, as he wrestled with God, he had an issue in his life where he ran from... Is everything okay, babe? Okay, I was making sure you didn't leave the kids. Okay, yeah. She's like, I'm leaving. But he had an issue in his life where he had stole a blessing from his brother and got it from his dad, and he had went to run away, and he found himself living apart from what he knew. He was living in a foreign land, and he ended up getting these wives over here, and he wanted this one wife, and he couldn't have her, so they ended up marrying this other woman, so you get to this woman. It was crazy back then. There was all this wildness that was going on, but Jacob's life was insane. So Jacob had this plan. He said, I'm going to leave in the middle of the night. Because he wouldn't know how to leave this land. And he's like, I'm going to leave. But if I go this way, I'm going to face my brother that I stole this blessing from. He hates me. He can't stand me. I did stuff in my past that I can't go this way because I'm going to face this. But if I go this way, I'm stuck in this mess. So he says, I'm going to head out in the middle of the night. Maybe I can get away from her. You see, Jacob's name meant the deceiver. And so in the middle of the night, he takes his family, and he starts crossing through the woods. And he tells his wife and his children to go on up. And he starts to wrestle with God. And through this wrestling match, he keeps wrestling. And through this whole time, he keeps saying, tell me your name. Tell me your name. Who am I wrestling with? Who am I wrestling with? Tell me your name. And through that battle, he gets his name. His name is changed from Jacob to Israel. And he stops running from his messes. And you know the story how it goes. Israel ends up meeting up with his brother, and they end up reconciling, and they end up having this time of love and this time of being together and all this stuff. And his life changes because he's willing to face what he's done wrong. But it goes on. Here's I'm just introducing you again to Jacob. So Jacob, he had a bunch of children. He had 4 wives. But the one, remember I told you he loved one wife more than he loved any of the others? Back then, that's what you did. You had one you really liked, and the others like, she's a good cooker, we'll keep her around. You know. Jacob had 12 sons. His 2 youngest sons were from his beloved wife. Okay? The older of these was named Joseph. Alright, that's the man I wanted to introduce you to today. And I want to just tell you a little side note here. Here's what God spoke to me during that time. Your blessing will be born out of something you love. God gives us a desire to love for a reason. Your blessing will be born out of something you love. That you really, really love. And that's what happened here. So Joseph is introduced to the story here in Genesis 37. So here's Joseph. He's 17 years old. He is loved by his father more than any of the other children. Now that's kind of it's a hard gig, right? He's the oldest of the youngest children. His mother is the one that's loved by his father more than all the other women. He himself is loved beyond all the other sons. And they all live in the same house. So it gets even deeper. At 17 years old, Jacob decides he's going to give Joseph a coat. Something that stands out. Okay, so now these guys are herders. They're shepherds. They wear like work clothing. They got stains all over themselves. The brothers wear all these nasty clothes and go out and chase these sheep. And his father says, I love you so much, I'm going to make you something very special. You're not going to wear what everybody else wears. You're going to wear something that I made, something beautiful. And it was very colorful. All the other ones probably just wore the white or the tan or whatever it was that was the cheapest. So here's this son walking around in his bright colored robe. And every time his brothers looked at it, they saw, Dad loves you more than he loves us. There's something different about you that he likes more than he likes about us. So you can feel the tension start to boil over. So it gets worse. Joseph has a dream. And it says right here, he even goes to his brothers and he says, hey, I want to tell you something. I had a dream. And what brought this on in my mind, and another thing, we just celebrated Martin Luther King. And you know, his famous I have a dream speech. And God spoke even through that to me about this. And here comes Joseph. He goes, hey, I had a dream. I want to tell you. And he says this. Listen to this dream I had. There we were, binding sheaves of grain in the middle of the field. Suddenly my sheaf rose up and stood upright, and your sheaf surrounded mine and bowed down to it. Then his brothers asked him, do you really think you will rule over us and have dominion over us? They hated him even more because of his dream. But it didn't stop there. Then he had another dream. And he told it to his brothers. I'm kind of wondering about Joseph's mentality here. It's like, he's not really showing up. He's not maybe the smartest dude. He's like, hey guys, check this dream out. You hated the last one, let me tell you this one. He goes, look, I had another dream. The sun, the moon, and 11 stars were bowing down to me. When he told his father and his brothers, his father, the one that loved him, rebuked him, saying, what is this dream that you had? Will I, your mother, and your brothers really come to bow down to you? His brothers were jealous of him, but his father kept in mind what Joseph had said. The plot thickens. So here's this man dressed in his Z Cavaricci bright clothing. You young people don't know what Z Cavaricci is. There used to be some pretty awesome stuff back when I was a kid. And he had all his bling bling on for you youngins. Alright? He had his bling bling robe on. And he's standing for his brother. Check this dream out. All these things are bowing down to me. And God spoke to me and says, God has placed dreams in each of us. Each one of us have been given dreams. The dreams are keys to freedom that God wants to give us. Our dreams, if we lose them, we would be throwing away the keys to the freedom that God wants to us. The dreams that God gives are the keys to the freedom He has for us. He spoke. I got to make sure you get that. Our dreams are keys to our freedom. They're not just given to you for no reason. It's going to unlock something in you. Okay? It goes on in Genesis here. They're out in the fields. I don't want to paraphrase a lot of this, okay? They're out in the fields, and here comes Joseph. And how do they know it's Joseph? Because, if you're looking far out, and there could be shepherds coming all around, there could be all these other type of people, how do they know it was Joseph? Because he was sparkling in the sun with his beautiful purple silk and nice robe. They could see him from far off. And they said, here he comes. Here comes that dreamer. Let's kill him. Let's kill him. And it goes on. And they said, here's what we'll do. We'll kill him and we'll say a wild animal ate him. We'll tell Dad a wild animal ate him. And then Reuben, the oldest son, steps up and he says, no. Let's not kill him. Let's just put him in a dry well. And let's leave him there so that we don't have to deal with him no more. He's out of our lives, but his blood is not on us. Here's what the Lord spoke to me about this. Be very careful who you share your dreams with. Because people that aren't living out their freedom and don't understand their own dreams will try to kill yours. Your dream is in the face of the enemy is something that they can't understand. They reject because they're not living the way God has called them to live. So be very careful who you share your dream with. There'll always be those that will try to kill your dreams that hate you because of your dreams. Always. It goes on and Genesis says this. So these traders come along and Joseph's brothers had another plan. Reuben had went on off. They said, here's what we'll do. we'll sell him. He's useless to us. Let's just make a little bit of money off of him. Let's get him and his dreams and all his stuff as far away as we possibly can. Let's sell him. So that's exactly what they did. They sold their brother. And they sold him to some Egyptians and some guys that were going into Egypt. And now Joseph had been taken down there, and whenever he got there, Pharaoh, a very important person, buys Joseph. And here's what it says. I'm going to paraphrase this here. Everything that Joseph did was blessed. He was bought as a slave. He started working and it was blessed. He started doing this and it was blessed. And the Pharaoh took notice of this. He says, you, my friend, you now, everything you do is blessed. You're in charge. You're in charge. But why? It says right there, the Lord was with Joseph. No matter your circumstance, no matter what you're going through, no matter where you've been, no matter what you've done, no matter the hell you think you're going through, if the Lord is with you, you will be prosperous. And the world around you will react that way. Those that know will start to gravitate towards you. Those that reject you are going to try to kill what's inside you. So with that being said, it goes in like this. Here's what happens. Just because there was something going good inside of him, the enemy saw it. And here's what happens right here. Now Joseph was a well-built and handsome man. Guess who took notice of him? Pharaoh's wife. She says this, come to bed with me. The world wants you to go to bed with it. It wants to steal everything that God is doing inside of you. And that's what Joseph says right here. He says, I refuse. Your husband has given me all this. I've been prosperous. I'm a slave, but he put me in charge. I've been given all this. You think I'm going to sacrifice what God has given me because you want me to come to bed with you? You're crazy. And he walks away. But how many times does the world entice us to come to bed with it? Just get in this relationship. Just look for approval of this guy. Just make a little bit more money. If you're just a little bit prettier, if you're a little bit smarter, if you get into this college, if you have this job, if you have this color of hair, if you just change just a little bit, the world keeps saying, come to bed with me. Come to bed with me. You know you want to. And I can promise you, if Pharaoh married her, I bet she was gorgeous. I bet she was everything that Joseph probably would have liked in a woman. Beautiful. It was very attractive. But he said, no way. I'm not going to trade what's inside me. What God has called me to. I have a dream inside me. And I haven't seen it yet, but those dreams are still inside of me. And I will not sacrifice what God has given me for what you're asking of me. I won't do it. So, she was upset. The story goes like this. He came back into the house. And nobody was around at this time. And she comes to him again. She goes, go to bed with me. And she grabs a hold of him. And he takes his coat off. And he runs out of that place. And he leaves his coat behind. And he goes, you know what I'll do? She says, you know what I'll do? I'll make lies against him. I'll come against him and I'll try to destroy him. Even though I can't make him do what I want him to do, I'll lie, I'll cheat, and I'll do anything to kill what's inside of him. So she goes to Pharaoh because she's not happy. The world's not happy with what God has placed inside you. The world does not want to see what God has inside you come to life. So it goes to your enemies. It starts making whispers. And accusations against you. And you start hearing the lies like Andrea started to hear in her mind. You're never good enough. You're never going to be good enough. Nobody likes you. Won't you just stop trying to be a Christian? You know this whole God thing's not working on anything. Won't you just quit? The lies keep attacking. And so Pharaoh heard this lie. and it infuriated him so much that he sent Joseph to jail. So think about this. Here's this young man that's been given everything by the Pharaoh. Now he finds himself locked up in prison. At any point in his time, your brothers just sold you. You've been jerked out of your home where your father loved you, where you had food, and you're given to this Pharaoh where you knew nobody. You rose up to power in that, and now that's been jerked away from you. Now you're a slave in this prison, and you're working here. You're doing all these things, and they're trying to kill you every moment. You're stuck. If anybody would want to give up, this would be Joseph. But he had a dream. He had a dream inside of him of freedom that God was going to give him. And he kept pushing. So in the prison, he started to take notice. Everything this man did turned to gold. Everything he did became prosperous. But why? Because the Lord was with him. In the prison, the Lord was with him, so he became the controller. He became the head man in prison. He stands there. Now he's in charge of all the prisoners. Let me tell you something. When God is in control, I don't care where you end up. You're going to be okay. Just keep pushing. And then two men show up in that prison. A cupbearer and a cook of the king. A cupbearer and a cook. Not of the man, not of the Mexican restaurant down on the corner, but of the king. So I started to research, what is a cupbearer and what does a cook have to do with this story? A cupbearer was the one that took the drink from the king and would drink it before he had a chance to have his taste of it, to make sure it was safe for him to consume. The cook was responsible to cook food that would not kill the king. Those two men were responsible for what the king took inside himself, what he allowed close to him. That's important. Those two men were responsible for who the king allowed close to him. They find themselves in prison. Guess what? They had a dream. They had a dream. Both of them. And they were troubled because they didn't know what it meant. And so Joseph, being in charge, overhears what's going on. And he goes over to the cupbearer and he says, "What's this I hear? What's going on with you? Why are you troubled?" He said, "I had a dream." And he starts to tell him the dream. And I love, Jacob tells him, or excuse me, Joseph tells him, I can't tell you the interpretation of your dream. I can't. But God will. I can't. Now I love, there's been people saying, they do have the gift of interpreting dreams. But here's the deal. I never heard until this point. Joseph didn't walk around going, I have the gift of interpreting dreams. To you. He believed in his dream so much, he goes, I can't do it. I can't. But God will. Not God might. God will. And he stood among the cupbearer. He said, tell me your dream. And so he does. And he interprets his dream like this. He says, you know what this means? You're going to be released from here. And you're going to be risen back up to your position. And you're going to be with the king again. But when you do, don't forget me. Don't forget me. The one that told you this. I kind of feel bad for the baker. The baker goes, he gets all excited. He's like, dude, that was sweet. You told him some good news. Tell me my good news. He goes, in 3 days, you're going to die. Your sins, they're too much. You're going to die. The baker's like, so can I have another dream? No, he's like, no, I'm not ready. That's Kevin Hart if you don't know. But anyways, it's interesting. So here's what happens. Exactly what he said happens. So here's the deal, though. At the bottom of the scripture, you read this. The chief cupbearer, however, did not remember Joseph. So here Joseph is like, he got out. This is it, God. You told me, you promised me, you told me you were going to do this. Now it's time. I did what you've asked me to do. Now 3 days from now, he's getting out. I'll probably get out too. But the cupbearer forgets and doesn't tell the king. How you respond to other people's dreams determines how your dream comes to life. That's what God spoke to me in that scripture right there. In Genesis 4:41 it says this. I got a lot of scripture here, I'm sorry guys, but it's just awesome stuff. I read this and I swear like epic music like Gabe is playing right now just came on in my head. It says, when 2 full years had passed, Pharaoh had a dream. Check this out. So here is Joseph in the prison, still doing what he's supposed to do. And every day, 2 more years go by. He's stuck in this hole. And Pharaoh has a dream. It comes back to the dream. The dream that Joseph started with is now Pharaoh is troubled with the dream. And he can't find anybody. It says in the scripture that he went everywhere. He got the sorceries, all the people, the magicians, and all these people that he thought maybe could tell him the interpretation. And nobody could do it. And God spoke to me. Nobody could fulfill your destiny but you. Nobody. In all the land, the king had all these people that he could choose from. Nobody could do it but Joseph. And nobody could do what God has called you to but you. That's the truth. And I put on my notes here, can you feel the cosmic and divine setup? It's set up. And here's Pharaoh pacing back and forth. I don't know what to do with this dream. It's troubling me. I don't know what to do. And guess who comes on the scene? The cupbearer. The cupbearer. And it says right here. The cupbearer comes up to the next scripture here. Today, I'm reminded of my shortcomings. He remembers. I was screwed up one time. I was in jail and I had a dream. And there was somebody that was there that helped me get out of there. I know a man that can help you, King. I know a man that can tell you the interpretation of your dream. I know a man that can change the destiny that you're walking in. I know a man that has a dream. His name is Joseph. And the king goes, go give me this man out of the prisons. Okay, at this point, Joseph is 30 years old. From 17 to 30, this man had lived in this up and down life in trouble. For 13 years, he'd been promised these dreams. He'd been promised all this stuff. He'd been promised his freedom, only to see it jerked out on its feet. But in one day, everything changed. 24 hours is all it took for him to go from a slave to a free man. 24 hours when God said, your dream will come alive now. Within the day, he went from slave to free. Not only that, let me see how much better this gets. So he tells Pharaoh, tell me your dream. God will give me the interpretation. God will tell you what it means. And so Pharaoh starts to tell him these dreams. And Joseph starts to tell him, here's what's going to happen. There's going to be a great, great famine. All your stuff, all the people are going to come from everywhere looking for food. There's going to be this good time, and then there's going to be this really, really bad time. And unless you prepare for it, the whole kingdom is going to be wiped out. Everything that you own, everything that you got, all that you are, you yourself will probably die because they will kill you unless you prepare yourself for this. Man, it's so good. I can't even preach it how good it is. I can't even do it. I'm trying, I can't do it. My voice won't even catch up. Here's what it is. This blows me away. Down here at the bottom, Pharaoh gets a chance to talk. I'm sure he's shaking his head. He's like, who is this guy? Who is this guy? And he says this, can we find anyone like this man? One in whom is the Spirit of God? Can find anybody like him? This guy was just a slave. He was just a prisoner. Can we find anybody like him? Then Pharaoh looked at Joseph and said this, since God has made all this known to you, there is no one so discerning and wise as you. You shall be in charge of all of this, all my palaces, all my land, and nobody will do anything unless you tell him to. All my people will submit to your orders. Do you remember the dream? People were starting to bow down to him. Do you remember the dream? 13 years ago, he saw these things starting to bow down to him. But if he would have sold out for one moment, if he would have slept with a woman, if he would have went to the world, if he said, I'm just a slave, he would have been robbed of this freedom. He would have been robbed of the dream. But he kept true to what God had said. He didn't go the easy way. He went the way God told him to. He had a dream, and God saw it through. I'm going to lose my voice over this because this is so good. I'm not going to lose my mind, is what I'm about to do. So he goes on. I love this so much. And Joseph is now in charge of Egypt. I'm not talking like he's in charge of Hagerstown. Egypt was the United States of its time. It was the greatest country, place in the world. It was the richest, had everything. Everybody wanted to go to Egypt so they could have things. They could be around the nice stuff. And Joseph is in charge. Even Pharaoh says this, the only reason why I'm above you is because I'm a king. But even I'm listening to you. And everything happened just the way Joseph said it would. The great time of harvest came, and they took everything in, and they put them in storage bins, and they took them all in, and then all this famine came, and people from all over the world came to Egypt to feed. Guess who came? Guess who came to get some food because they were dying? Guess who came because they were struggling? They were not going to make it another day. They struggled to get there. They didn't know how they were going to get there. They get there, and it's his brothers. His brothers come crawling up to him. And they don't even recognize him. They come crawling up to him. And they bow before him. Do you remember the dream? Do you remember the dream? Here he sees his brothers. He knows it's his brothers. And he don't say anything. And here they are. Imagine that thought that he dreamed 13 years ago. He's standing there and he sees it happen right before him. He don't even know if his brothers are alive. He don't even know if his family, his dad, or anybody's still alive. And he sees it come right there. And they're bowing before him and saying, please, oh Lord, please, help us. We have nothing. He says, get up. I'm going to help you. But go get your father. Bring him here. And Jacob, Israel, shows up. He gets down on his knees. He bows down before Joseph. He cries out, oh Lord, oh gracious Lord, please help us. I need you. I need you. Please help. Our country, our people, we need you. My family, we need you. Do you remember the dream? And Joseph, in my mind, he reaches down. He grabs his father by the hand. He pulls him up and he says, look at me, Dad. It's me. It's me, your son. Joseph. Remember my dream. Here I am. I'm in charge of all the land. I've got you, Dad. I've got you, brothers. I've got you. Do you remember the dream? Everything that you ever want, everything that you ever need, I've got you. Because God's got me. I didn't forget the dream. I didn't forget the dream. My dream's going to affect you. My dream's going to affect all this world. My dream is going to live because my God is alive. Now go tell everybody that your son is alive and that he's got it because he's got his dream. That is so beautiful. It's so amazing. And God spoke those dreams inside of each and every one of you. That thing that brings you to life. That thing that you love on the inside. The little whispers that tell you, you can do this. That's God. Now it might take you some time. But freedom is found through your dreams. Freedom is found through your dreams. Your dreams will unlock your freedom. Don't give up on your dream. Don't sell out for the invitations. Don't quit on your dream because it's too easy to go the other direction. You see, that's what God spoke to me. He says people want comfort so much. They want instant gratification so much that they'll quit on their dreams. They'll quit on what I gave them. They'll say that they're too old. They'll say that they're too young. They'll say that they want something else, but they'll just stay true to what I've told them. I promise you, I'll change the world through them. Because I gave them a dream. Martin Luther King. That man lived because he had a dream. He's still living today because of that dream. His body is in the ground and his soul is with the Lord, but he lives on because of that dream. Your dream is so big, don't let anything kill it. It's the freedom that God's calling you to. Every one of you have these dreams. And it's not just one. Here's the beautiful thing about it that God spoke to me. Have a dream for your marriage. Because it's huge. Have a dream for your children. Because it's huge. Have a dream for your health, your finances, all those things. Have a dream that God has given you. Never let them go. No matter what the world tells you. Because the world is going to say, just come to bed with me and all things will be okay. Don't give in to the enemy lying to you and saying you don't deserve those dreams. That you're just this and you have this health condition. You're just broken. You're a mess. You're all these things. Don't give in to them because the dream is bigger than the enemy. The dream is what God has put in you. I want to always speak to young people because young people are always, I remember whenever I was young, I remember thinking, oh, if I just had this, or if I could just talk to this girl, or if I just had this type of relationship, or whatever was going on, if I just had these things, I'd be happy. I promise you all, happiness is only found through God and His dream for you. I've watched so many people go in life and they gave up on their dreams. And we call it settling. We settle. Well, I'm a 27-year-old man, or I'm a 30-something man. I got to get myself a regular job, and I got to take care of my family is what I got to do. You know what they're saying? I can't wait for God anymore. I'm going to take matters into my own hands. But you see those people, and they're the ones that are dead on the inside. Every day they die a little bit more. And by the time they get time to retire, they're too tired to do anything. All they want to do is just lay down because the world's been beating on them. I heard people say, if this is my dream, I won't woke it up. If this is my dream, it's a nightmare. I don't want to live this. You don't have to. It's your choice. Andrew's word this morning, it's our choice. If Michael Jordan would have never had a dream to be Michael Jordan, we would have been robbed of that. What if he would have believed his high school coaches that said, you're not good enough. We cut you from the team. What if he went home and said, I'm nobody, and he would have took his life? What if he went home and said, I don't deserve anything. I deserve nothing. I'm going to quit school. Let's get a regular job. We would have missed Michael Jordan. Michael Jordan. We would have missed it. God just spoke something to me even about basketball. So it reminded me of Steph Curry. I love that man. He's just an incredible basketball player and human, and he has faith. And if you look at what Golden State is doing, it's not coincidence, guys. He's prosperous in everything he touches. I don't care if Steph Curry said, you know what? I'm going to make lipstick. It's going to be called Curry lipstick. And it's going to be awesome. I promise you, whatever that man touches, because he's walking in the anointing of God, Steph Curry lipstick would blow up. And every girl would have to have some Curry lipstick. I promise you. Because he's prosperous. Because the Lord is with him. Billy Graham. I mean, seriously, Billy Graham blows my mind. He's been giving the same message for 50 or 60 years. The same exact message. He gets up there and he goes, love the Lord and give your life to Him. Repent for your sin and go this way. And thousands show up to hear that message and run to the altar because he's walking in what God has called him to do. He had a dream. You don't think people told Billy Graham, you're crazy, Billy? Those people probably call him William. William, you're nuts. He said, I'm Billy, and I have a dream. I don't know if that happened that way, but that's how I see it. Yeah, he had a dream. Billy had a dream. And he said, you know, one day, if you've ever heard Billy's story, it's wild. One day, one day I must be speaking to thousands, leading them to the Lord. Millions all over the world. I'm going to be with all these presidents. You know, I don't know how many, but every president for the past, I don't know how many terms have met with Billy Graham. When they come into office, guess who the first people they meet is Billy Graham. But he'll lay hands on them and pray for them as leaders of this country. Do you think 60 years ago, 70 years ago, when he's just a young man that says, man, there's a fire inside me. I'm going to do something about this. You think he thought, I'm going to be praying for presidents? Probably so. Probably so, because he had a dream. And we would have been like, I'm going to move over to Hagerstown, start me a little church. That's not about me. But what if he would have been content? And said, man, I got myself 50 people. Load it up. He would have never been Billy Graham. Guys, your dream is huge. I love the quote that says, if your dream doesn't scare you, it's not big enough. It should scare you to death. Because where you can't, God can. That's called faith. And that's freedom. I want to pray with you, and I want to get you out of here so you can start living your dream. Father, I thank you so much for today. I thank you allow my voice to continue. I probably won't be able to yell at wrestling this week, but that's fine. I just thank you for giving me the word today, God. God, I know I needed it more probably than anybody in this room. Seems like that seems to be the case most of the time when I speak, God, is that you're talking right to me. And I'm okay with that. God, I thank you that you gave me a dream, Lord, even as a little boy. And God, I ask that all of our dreams, God, would get in the front of our minds, Lord, and we would go after them, Lord. We wouldn't settle. We wouldn't quit on our dream because of setbacks. We'd be like Joseph. And everything that we put our hand to, God, we would thank you. And we would make it prosper. And at the right time, God, you'll move us from one place into our dream. And God, I thank you for that. I thank you that your dream is so big for us that we can't even fathom it in our own minds. Don't let us sell out, God. Don't let us quit. Don't let us stop. Don't let us start sleeping with the world just to get temporary happiness. And don't let us believe the lies of the enemy. But let us hold on to the dream. We love you, Father. It's in your Son's name, through the Spirit, that we proclaim this. We don't just pray this, God. We proclaim this over each and every one of our lives.